Bring in now Professor Ndletyana, who will just give us a bit more insight about what all this means for the African National Congress. Professor Ndletyana, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Clearly, we're hearing Zizi Kodwa say the mood is jovial inside, but the expectation, of course, would be that it would be quite tense, given the disunity that we've seen within the African National Congress over the past few days.
It is unprecedented in the history of the ANC, where you have three of its top officials coming out publicly opposing the president. So obviously, because of those differences and the disapproval expressed by others against them, that this meeting can't possibly be jovial. Surely there was tension, and the issue is, how do you send a united message? And the challenge for the ANC, and which is what everyone else has been saying, how do you unite against infamy, something bad? Yes, you need unity, but at the same time, it must be unity in defense of the moral character of the ANC. The question here is that what the president has done has brought harm onto the republic. So if you say there must be unity, it means that everyone else must endorse the bad actions that the president has done. And those three officials are coming out clearly saying they won't do that.
Can the ANC survive this one? I mean, the ANC itself has been through many challenges, and many are saying perhaps the ANC president himself could emerge from this one as well. He's faced many other crises. We're talking about the Nkandla saga, constitutional court rulings, and quite a number of other issues. But what would the ANC then need to do to emerge from this extended National Working Committee meeting to convince South Africans that the ANC itself is committed to ensuring that the disunity that we've seen displayed so publicly over the past few days can be resolved, and the ANC can continue with the work which is mandated to do?
It's a stalemate, and I don't see how you come out of that stalemate, because obviously the president has done something harmful to the interest of the republic, and people disapprove of that. So if you say they must come out with a united position, what united position? It means someone else must also join others and say this is wrong, or the others must come out saying the president has done something good. I don't see them converging around that. So there must clearly be a position, whether it's bad or good. If they say it is good, what the president has done, then they must explain how. Because there's a clear case, there's clear evidence that this decision is bad. It's not the first time that the president has taken this decision. He has done it before, and the results were bad. So equally now they are bad. So he did something knowing quite well what the consequences would be. So to say then that you support his decision that is harmful to the republic, then you must explain how good this is for the republic. So it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one, a very divisive issue. Because it's not one you can spin, really, because the results of this decision are clear to everyone to see.
Now, the expectation, and I guess what many would be concerned about, is perhaps with this National Working Committee meeting expected to take place tomorrow, there would then be those who were not really critical of what the president has done, basically sat on the fence and said they would have to respect the president's executive decision, and then you had those who were critical of that. Would you see perhaps two factions of the ANC pitted against each other on how to emerge from I guess a press conference which would be held at a later stage to address the media? How does it emerge from that, where so blatantly and so publicly you've clearly had the top six of the ANC split into half?
It is very difficult not to criticize this decision. Even though you defend or you believe that the president has this prerogative to fire and hire, at the same time, that decision has got to be exercised, or that right has got to be exercised in a way that does not bring harm to the interest of the republic. That's what the Constitution says. So in this case, the question is this decision in the interest of the republic? And the chorus out there is that no, it is not, because it has brought harm to the republic. So how you get around that, I don't see, because you can't turn something bad into something good. You can't spin it. The evidence is clear to everyone to see, right? The only possible resolution is him to retract that decision or him to step down, because he's a liability. And what is even more interesting for the ANC was that after losing in August just last year, the elections or dropping by 8%, they were saying they must do everything to ensure that they don't go against the interests of the public. They said the ANC is a party that listens. We've heard the people. We will conduct ourselves in a rightful way. This is not good conduct. This is not the conduct that regains the confidence of the public. And this is what most ANC branches have been saying, right? So how then does a president do that? Do what it did now, after all these resolutions and the outcry and the pleas from ANC members that we should behave in a good way to show people that we care for their interest. It's one of those decisions that I'm afraid we cannot rally unity around because it is so bad that people cannot bring themselves around it, and certainly those who are morally conscious.
Just before we wrap up, Professor Ndletyana, this is one of the questions that I posed to the spokesperson of the ANC. One of the other critical issues is the alliance partners and the dissent that we're seeing coming from those quarters. The SACP very public after its Politburo indicating that it wants President Jacob Zuma to go. We also know that the COSATU CEC has also put on the table, a way forward for President Jacob Zuma, whether he should resign or not. How does the ANC also try to mend those relations with its alliance partners when you're seeing so much dissent coming from those quarters as well?
Well, the alliance partners are saying, in fact, they are confirming what everyone else has been saying, that Jacob Zuma is not only a liability to the country, but is definitely a huge liability to the ANC. He's a huge cause for ANC's decline, right? So they for that unity to be forged within the alliance, then they must get rid of the liability, right? It makes sense. And it's not good news, especially for Jacob Zuma forces, to have SACP and COSATU saying he must resign, because these are organized forces, especially COSATU. They have the support, they have the resources, they can call on their trade unions to march. So what you are seeing happening is the growth of this coalition, calling for something good to be done, for the interest of the Republic to be put first beyond the interest of the individuals and the interest of sectional interests.
Professor Ndletyana, thank you very much for your time. So always great speaking to you with some of that insight. Now you're hearing, of course, that that extended National Working Committee meeting will be taking place tomorrow. Of course, Kirsty, we're expecting it to take place today, but more time, according to the spokesperson, saying that more time needs to be given to the ANC officials to discuss one of these critical issues relating to the cabinet reshuffle, post the cabinet reshuffle, and once that takes place, then that briefing will be given to the National Working Committee, and we're expecting that to get underway at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, as per the spokesperson of the ANC. But I think what's certainly going to be very closely watched here is exactly how the ANC emerges from this latest debacle with a voice of unity. Many of the analysts, including Professor Ndletyana that we just spoke to, says it's going to be quite impossible, given such a public displeasure that has been expressed by just 3 of the ANC's top 6, such public displeasure of the ANC president and the decisions that he took, how now the ANC, after having this meeting, would then be able to come and speak with one voice and say, despite the challenges that the ANC is facing, they will still be able to move forward with one voice.
Criselda Lewis coming to us outside Luthuli House in Johannesburg. The ANC's National Working Committee meeting, the one that was set for this afternoon, has been postponed till 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Time to take a short break.